Hello. How are you doing tonight? I'm going to do my third and final chapter of roasting David Chrisman tonight. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And this story just goes to show you that we don't have Christmases like we used to. And I wish that I could go back and relive some of those Christmases, but that just isn't the way life works. It only goes in one direction. So I had a lot of fun years ago. This here is a picture of David and Missy, and I wanted to show that because I really like that picture. That's from 1988, and our story probably takes place a little bit before that. And this story has a lot of details in it, and I just wrote down what I wanted to say because I needed a crutch on this one. But we'll get through it, okay? This is good on David. In the late 80s and early 90s, David would always come to Granny's for Christmas. And it was always like receiving an ambassador from the North Pole. He always had a hearty laugh and chuckled with many ho-ho-hos. He would sing Christmas carols with Missy, Jimmy, and Hazel. Sometimes he would sing and play on his mandolin. The whole family enjoyed it. I don't know how David could sing and play after eating the big feasts we used to enjoy. Hazel would carve the turkey, and my mother would help serve. David always helped make these fun times even better. When I was a child, I used to enjoy reading letters from Santa Claus. Often newspapers would print letters from today's youth and also share older ones from the 30s or some other decade. The older ones were quite different from modern ones. Often the older ones, the child might ask for some fruit or some nuts. It was a nice reminder of simpler times when Christmases were more modest. Those reminders helped take the mind off the hustle and bustle of the holidays. David's letters to Santa probably contained wishes for Star Wars figures, a teleportation machine, or tickets to see the latest movies, Planet of the Apes, or maybe 2001, A Space Odyssey. When David was growing up until he was 17 years old, he learned about the meaning of Christmas from Liberty Avenue Baptist Church. Like all churches, I'm sure they celebrated Christmas by caroling, handing out gift baskets, decorating, setting out nativity scenes, and reminding the community about the true meaning of Christmas. David was a well thought of member of the church. The church had a group of male singers called the Foundations, and David became a member of that group. They were a very good quartet and could sing very good a cappella. They were very good at harmonizing. David must have sung with them for several years, because I can remember going to hear David perform with the Foundations. And I don't know what venue they were at, but the Cathedrals were performing at that same venue. And when I seen David perform and then seen the Cathedrals get up and perform, I thought that the Foundations was just as prestigious and famous as the Cathedrals were, and the Cathedrals were known nationwide. And that was just my thoughts when I was younger. And I can tell you, when you're working for the Lord, God sees everybody the same, and you're on the same level, in God's eyes. So they were doing awesome work for God, and was sharing the stage with some awesome people. With all this background in music, David was able to leave Liberty Avenue Baptist Church and get a job as an associate pastor of music at Silver Creek Baptist Church. This made David the only member of the Foundations that was not a member of Liberty Avenue Baptist Church. Everyone was very proud of David for taking the job at Silver Creek Baptist. David hadn't much more than taken the position then Silver Creek began having problems finding a director for their Christmas play. David, being the youngest associate pastor there, was the last one to be asked to do it. David was very honored and excited to be the director, but he warned that he wasn't going to tell anyone that they couldn't be in the play, and the deacons and leaders of the church seemed fine with that. Whatever you want to do, David, is fine with us. Well, it wasn't long before rumors started going around that David was directing a very big event at Silver Creek Baptist Church. He had 12 people to play wise men, 24 shepherds, 8 Marys, 8 Josephs, 5 infants to play baby Jesus, 100-member choir, cows for a stable out in the parking lot, llamas dressed as camels, sheep for all the shepherds. Not only that, but it was also rumored that the church was going to provide enough food to feed approximately 1,000 people. Well, David had to face all these rumors when he was at the breakfast table with his sister, mom, and dad, and they were all eating biscuits and gravy. Jimmy said, "I heard you were planning a big event at Silver Creek Baptist Church." David said, "Yeah, it's going to be pretty big." Jimmy said, "I also heard that almost all of Liberty Avenue's congregation is most likely going to be there." David said, "Yeah, sorry about that." Jimmy said, No, don't say you're sorry. I've always told you, don't complain about your failures and never apologize for your success. If God has opened his loving arms towards you, don't apologize for it." David said, "Thanks, Dad." Then Missy asked David, "Is it true that you have 5 infants to play the baby Jesus. We don't even have one at our church. David said, I really don't know what you expect me to do, sis. I need one for the auditorium, one for the fellowship hall, one for the vestibule, one for the parking lot, and another to cover brakes. I absolutely need every one I have. Well, the day of the play finally arrived. Silver Creek was decorated like never before. The church door had a holiday wreath. Lights lined the sidewalks. Lights and garland were wrapped around the handrails. The trees were decorated too. The church bus had a big red nose on the front grille, big red lips on the bumper, eyelashes on the headlights, and antlers on the side view mirrors. The church was painted white and said Silver Creek Baptist Church on the side. They also had Christmas lights strung down the sides of the bus. The cold winter air was blowing that day. The llamas and cows huddled together for warmth. David went inside to see the results of all his labor. That's when he saw, as he opened the door, that it was just as his father had said. All of Liberty Avenue's congregation was there to see David's play. That is when David realized what he had done. He had stolen Christmas from Liberty Avenue. David said, I can't stand for this. I must undo what I have done. And he went to the good pastor of Silver Creek and confessed and told him what he had done. The good pastor told David, it is up to you now to save Christmas. For the good people of Liberty Avenue, you have gotten the people here ready for this Christmas play. Everyone knows their part and what to do, and you have done a fantastic job here at Silver Creek. Go to the fellowship hall and take a tray of turkey, a tray of stuffing, mashed potatoes and corn to the good people of Liberty Avenue. Load up the church bus with the people working the live nativity scene outside. Save them from the cold. Take you and the 3 wise men that make up the Foundation's quartet and do what is needed. Meanwhile, at Liberty Avenue, Jimmy, Hazel, and Missy stood out in the cold. I guess everyone went to see David, Jimmy said. A little boy named Timmy, who wanted to play the infant Jesus, but was too old, said, let us sing to the greatest announcement the world has ever known. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Then they sang, the 4 of them, Joy to the world. After they sung, Tiny Tim saw a light rising up over the snow. It's him! It's him! The young boy cried. I can see his nose. Oh, look how it shines. I'd even say it glows. And look who's driving. David is leading the way. That's when David pulled into the lot and flew open the door and blew howdy ho on his trumpet. He brought back the foundations. He brought back he brought Mary and Joseph and shepherds out of the cold. He even brought a Christmas feast. And the best part of all, Tiny Tim didn't have to stand outside ice cold in the snow anymore. They all went inside, and Jimmy told the story of the birth of Christ to the few but faithful. So, I hope you enjoyed that story. It was a combination of some Christmas classics. I love David, and he makes a great hero to any story. He's so great. Well, I'm going to catch you later. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, and I hope you reach out and make contact with people that you love and care about, that maybe you haven't spoke to them in longer than you should. And you can reach out to them, and they're probably needing to be reached out to, and hear someone acknowledge that they are important to someone else. Because so many people, all they do is go to the break room and stuff, and people sit there and type on their phones, and no one talks to each other anymore like they should. So reach out there and let someone know that you care about them. Well, I'm going to get off here, and I just want to say Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. Bye.